Welcome to this wonderful conversation, now streaming. My name is Sairee Chahal. I run two companies, both around women. One is called SHEROES, the other is called Mahila Money. I've spent about a decade building what I call women's internet. I'm delighted to see this room here today. All of you are change makers, path breakers, entertainers, inspiring women, and I think you're role models to a lot of women in this country. So I'm delighted to be having this conversation with you. And of course, I think you've made a lot of us happy and made us cry, and you've really brought out a lot of life for millions of Indians. But the lens I'm going to take today is strong women and women who inspire, which all of you do. And let me start by asking a very basic question. What makes strong women? What makes women who become role models, women who stand up for themselves? And clearly we're a country where this hasn't happened for a lot of women. Taapsee, I'm going to start with you. I saw your show with Nilesh, and I know there were a lot of stories that tumbled out. Take us through a little bit of your formative years. What made you you?
A lot of mistakes, learning from them, not repeating them. That's how and that's what I call being a strong woman. A lot of mistakes in the formative years where I have done things thinking this is right for me, but it didn't turn out to be right. I had this weird inquisitiveness in me to always question why not, which became very awkward for my entire family because they used to tell me कहीं पे भी बाहर लेके जाने से पहले घर से to our friends or families houses, they used to tell me, you will not argue there. That used to be my statutory warning given to me before I left the house. And hours of lecture I used to get from my parents, because my first cousins from both the sides were these very obedient, sweet girls who used to just blindly do and follow as being told. And I was told for hours, almost every day, that you look at her, you have to be like her, you have to be like her. But I was like, but why? What am I doing wrong? I'm just asking you, why can't I do this? Or why should I do this? So that used to really annoy my parents a lot in the formative years. And I think that the fact that I don't know who to give credit to, the fact that I didn't let that leave me. I was not the best role model for anyone in my family while I was growing up, because they used to think that she argues a lot and she fights a lot with people, so you don't have to become like her, like
incredibly well done there, for sure.
So yeah, so that's how it's been, but thankfully it didn't take away or it didn't scar me. So yeah, so this inquisitiveness and the not getting scared of making mistakes,
fearlessness, if I may say.
Yeah, so that I think really helped me grow and become the person I am.
Thank you, and it's showing, and may there be more rebel girls around us.
Thank you.
Neena, I think I have never heard, I think we all know of your story of rebellion. You're the rebel icon leader for all of us, and we love you.
Beg your pardon.
But
Give the look.
yes, no, this is big deal in our world, and of course you are, and you've broken too many rules, and we love that, and you continue to do so. But I think what I really want to ask you is a little bit about your childhood and a little bit about your own motivations as a young girl growing up.
My mother was a double MA, and she had a very tough marriage. I had a brother. My parents wanted me to be an IAS officer, and sometimes I feel I would have done better there than being an actress. Cheek kar rahi hu na main?
You're very well. You're doing great.
So my mother was in a way very orthodox, in a way very modern. She was a mixture of both, and I think I'm also a mixture of both. I can be very orthodox in my thinking. I can be very modern in another way. So my mother was like that. Very strict. I was not allowed to go to see a film with my girlfriends till my BA. that strict, okay? And so when I, like she said na, कि why not? I'll give you an example, you'll understand what she was saying कि logic क्या होता है. Logic ही होता है ना जो हमको rebel करने के लिए बोलता है. So I wanted to go with my boyfriend. Finally उनको पता चल गया मेरा एक boyfriend है, मेरा पहला boyfriend who became my husband later on. So I wanted to go with him to Kashmir. So my mother से सवाल ही नहीं पैदा होता. I said why? She says because you're not married. So I said okay, I'll get married. I got married to him because I wanted to go to Kashmir. Because मेरे को कोई लॉजिक समझ नहीं आया कि जो आप चाहते हैं मैं ना करूँ वो तो मैं कहीं भी कर सकती हूँ ना. उसके लिए कश्मीर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. वो तो मैं यहाँ भी कर सकती हूँ, दिल्ली में भी. तो ऐसा मेरे को ना लॉजिक समझ में नहीं आता था कि मना कर रहे तो क्यों मना कर रहे. अगर मुझे लॉजिक समझ में आ जाता तो शायद मैं नहीं करती. You know, so I came from that family, that kind of a family. And whatever I did, वो तो मैं रिपीट नहीं करना चाहती स्ट्रगल वगैरह. लेकिन एक बात मैं कहना चाहूँगी, a very important thing for any woman to be strong is to have a family where she can go back to. मैं जब बॉम्बे में थी, हर कुछ महीने के बाद I wanted to go back because there was no work coming. And I knew कि मैं कुछ भी गलत भी कर लूँ, I can go back and cry in my mother's lap and she will forgive me, although she was very strict. So I feel having that kind of a family, वो लड़ो लो, मर लो, कुछ भी कर लो, but
safe space.
That gives you a lot of strength. I'm telling you, if I didn't have anybody, पता नहीं मेरा क्या होता. Very important.
Wonderful. Safe spaces for our children. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Amruta, may I ask you the same question? I know we have this image of you, of this strong screen woman. We've seen the roles you've played. Take us through your backstory.
It was, मैं बिल्कुल भी ऐसी कुछ भी नहीं थी जो आपने अभी कहा. I was very shy. मतलब बाहर आके लोगों से बात करने में भी डर लगता था, तो अंदर ही रहती थी. अगर बाहर लोग आए तो अंदर चली जाती थी, बहुत शर्माती थी. बट द ओनली स्पेस आई वुड बी माई सेल्फ वो स्टेज. तो मुझे लगता था कि यहाँ पे आई कैन बी माई सेल्फ. तो बाकी मैं इतनी सहमी हुई थी और इतनी बंद थी कि आप कहते हो ना कि ये मेरा घर है, तो मुझे वैसे लगता है कैमरा के सामने या फिर स्टेज पर मुझे ऐसे लगता है. बट कई बार आम लोगों के साथ बात करने में मुझे तब ऐसे होता था बचपन में बहुत ही. आई वॉज बट नाटक करने, बिकॉज माई मदर इज़ ऑल्सो एन एक्ट्रेस. शी इज़ फ्रॉम NSD. शी इज़ नसीरुद्दीन शाह एंड ओमपुरी's बैचमेट. ज्योति देशपांडे, who played my mother-in-law in Gully Boy.
I have heard about her.
Yeah. So she's yours. Yeah. So she told me stories of Alkazi Saab. How he, मतलब वो सब स्टोरीज मैंने बचपन से सुनी, तो वो बैकग्राउंड मुझे मिला वहाँ. और फिर दुबे जी आए, सत्येंद्र दुबे जी इज़ माई एक्टिंग के पहले गुरु. फिर नसीर सर आ गए NSD में सिखाने के लिए. फिर मैं NSD गई. तो मुझे लगता है कि मुझे खुद को ढूंढने के लिए मुझे ये स्पेस मदद करता है. अदरवाइज आई एम एट लॉस, यू नो.
Nurturing space. आपकी nurturing space.
जी. तो वो जो स्ट्रेंथ, यस, I also went to NSD. अच्छा ठीक है. I will. जी. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये जो स्ट्रेंथ और वो सब आप बता रहे हो, वो मुझे मेरे रोल्स नहीं, मेरे अंदर शायद वो चीज़ें हमारे अंदर होती है लेकिन वो बाहर निकलती है जब वो ऐसा रोल करो, तो मेरे लिए वो ज़्यादा रहा.
Wonderful. आप जो कह रहे हो, it so resonates with me. When I was a child, मेरे को नमस्ते कहने में भी, like if we had guests over, नमस्ते कहने में भी मेरी जान निकलती थी. I would go hide behind the sofa कि किसी को नहीं देखना है. And now of course ऐसे if I have to show up for work wherever, here I am talking to you, so I think I resonate. Scope of work में होगा तो मैं कर दूँगी. Wonderful.
जी.
Mrunal, what about you? I think you're out there, so much of media attention, and you know, keeping up with so much. I can totally see, even without being in your position, that it's a lot of pressure at all times. Where do you draw this from? Tell us about how was your childhood and what brought you here.
You know, my dad always asked me, why not? If he can do it, she can do it, why not you? So that was kind of stuck in my head, and I feel like every human being, when they grow up, it's those childhood dreams that they couldn't fulfill in their childhood. That's something that they want to pursue when they grow up. Like, for example, I always wanted to learn Kathak in my childhood days, but I couldn't. So I just felt like, kuch karna hai yaar. When Super 30 happened, they asked me, do you know how to dance? Do you know anything about Kathak? And I said no, but I did take 2-3 lessons. And that time Mama had shut, class kyunki lamba jana padta tha. She was really afraid kyunki highway cross karke itna lamba, you don't know what kind of... I was studying in Jalgaon at that point of time. So वो dreams थोड़े अधूरे रह गए जिनको मैं अभी पूरा कर रही हूँ. But having said that, today I think the kind of person I've become is also because my dad was a government employee and he kept moving from one place to another. I changed 11 schools and I was ragged all the time. So I felt like I became very rebellious. I was very besharam. I was not afraid of asking, or if anything was happening wrong to me, I would always open up and tell my parents about it. And my parents actually encouraged me to speak up. So that's one thing. Talking about the pressure, you mentioned the pressure that I have. Yes, of course, I think we all women go through a lot of pressure in our lives, be it work, be it family, be it everything, finance, the way you have to dress up, the way your social media is, the way you handle your trolling. I just feel like I need to be honest, because if I'm honest, I'll be able to go get some good sleep in the night. Because if I try to put a facade, pretend to be someone that I'm not, it's going to kill me inside. And something that I've learned from Neena ji is, she said that she never became bitter in spite of all these ups and downs. I think I'm going to take that away with me, and I'm going to accept all the lows, ups and downs and criticism, because the moment you become a public figure, criticism to aana hi hai. So you have to be comfortable with that. Trolling, I don't care. Honestly, there are people who expect me to post about everything. Guys, my social media is not a news channel. For that, you need to go and just turn on the
Watch a news channel for sure.
So I am me, and I am unapologetically me. I love myself, and I'm going to do what I feel is right.
Thank you. Wonderful. So inspiring. So I have to tell you a little bit. I started my company about 7 years ago, and at that time there were barely 10 million women online in India, and today of course that number is 400 million women connected to the internet. And I think the reason I'm asking these questions is these are not just questions for you, these are things we see every day, and my takeaway is that speak up, own your voice, be you, and be a little shameless. Say no often, I think, for sure. And this brings me to our next question. I think, the thing about change is you never know whether it's really changing, because it's when you're in the middle of the transition. And I know, Taapsee, you've spoken a lot about gender pay gap in the industry. Neena ji, we saw you go on Twitter and ask for work, and that was so iconic. I think I was online when that happened, and I just felt this is the flip. This is the flip that we need around. But we know there are far more women-centric roles today. We know there are more women writers. We know the strong protagonist is a real deal, and things are changing. But do you feel this is real change? Is it really changing, or is it because we are in this bubble and we're seeing this happen? Do you see the narrative shifting? Mrunal, you can go first.
Sorry, I'm going to be in trouble. But I was in the filming process in the middle of the shoot where we were making a story. It's a female-centric show where the women had no power to raise their opinion. Till itni choti baatein where we were not even allowed to do to feel what the character felt. So I had to literally go and beg the director, "Sir, may I please go and find my portly in that corner?" He said, "No, your lighting is done here, so you have to come here." I said, "Sir." And then he raised a question. He said, "Do you think I'm dumb?" I said, "No, sir. I think if you were dumb, I would never do your show." first of all. And second of all, I don't think you've seen my work, sir. I'm very true to the character that I play. So, yes, we are making female-centric movies, but I wish that that princess who's actually playing a princess would have been treated like a princess and not just any random person.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, and I hope you do share more details about this at some point in a blog. Or
I'm glad that that show didn't happen.
Oh, wow. Taapsee, we know you have a lot of opinion on
Yeah, I mean, those opinions are pretty much out there in open, be it with the pay parity or with the way the belief and trust in a female protagonist to pull off a certain level film. And or for that matter, the footfalls in theaters to watch a female protagonist film. Why do we wait for the reviews to come out for only a female protagonist film? And when it comes to male-driven film, we pre-book our tickets for the weekend. So these are some basic issues that happen. If you ask me about the change, yeah, the change is there, but it's not. I'm an optimistic person. So I don't really see the equal happening in our generation. I'll be very honest. But if we give up, it will not happen in the next generation also. It can only happen in the coming generation if we don't give up. So it's a big responsibility on all of us. So I have to keep pushing the bar a little bit every year, which I am trying to do in my own capacity, whatever I can. Thankfully, this kind of a situation, the films that I do, they really treat me as the protagonist of the camera also. And, with mutual respect towards each other. Thankfully, I have created that kind of space, and I hope more and more women can create that kind of a space. I mean, my portly will be where I would want it to be. So yeah, that has changed a little bit here now. At least I'm talking about but yeah, in the industry scenario, the pay parity.
numbers don't add up.
Yeah, they don't. Like even for an OTT platform, I'll be very honest, we are on an OTT platform event here, but even for an OTT platform, a male protagonist of the same experience as me, having done probably lesser number of films than me, will be paid more to do something on an OTT platform also.
So it still exists in a really
It is
big
there. It is it's not even trying to hide itself or shy away. It's very out there and open. Yeah, you just have to bother to look at it. Yeah, it is very much there. But I can't be embarrassed or shy, get embarrassed about it, because if I do that, then who will solve it?
I know.
So I need to go
You're
for it.
taking charge.
Yeah, let's just face the problem. Solving the problem is by facing it first and then figuring out now how do I bridge this, and not by just fighting mujhe equal chahiye. No, okay, you're not going to give it to me equal. I'll make sure I'll earn my way through to make it equal. So you have to accept that there's a problem and then make your way through it. Can't just keep fighting with it. Yeah.
A woman has to work doubly hard to get the same outcome.
Yeah. To get the same respect, you have to work double, do everything double.
Neena, I think you've always taken charge, and of course now you're seeing the next generation play out. Do you feel the same, that if we don't do this, it's going to be harder?
I'm very proud of this generation, the way they think. They work very hard. I have seen it. I have worked with a lot of youngsters in my a few years back. I'm very proud of this generation. And अभी क्या हुआ है, मुझे ऐसा सिखाया गया था कि आदमी प्रोवाइडर होता है, औरत नर्चरर होती है, क्योंकि वो बच्चा पैदा करती है. तो पहले डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर था कि आदमी बाहर जाके पैसा कमाता था, औरत घर का ध्यान रखती थी, बच्चों का ध्यान रखती थी, जो कि फुल टाइम जॉब है. अब सिर्फ आदमी के कमाने से तो घर नहीं चलता है ना. तो अब औरतें भी, उनको पढ़ाओगे तो फिर ये तो नहीं कहोगे घर में बैठो, तो नौकरी करेंगी. तो अब औरत को डबल काम करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि हमारे आदमी अभी तक रेडी नहीं है कि वो घर का या बच्चों का भी काम करे. तो वो बेचारी नौकरी भी जाती है, ट्रेन से वापस आती है, ट्रेन में सब्जियां खरीदती है, मैं बॉम्बे की बात कर रही हूँ, और फिर वो घर जाती है और फिर वो खाना बनाती है, फिर वो होमवर्क कराती है, फिर उसको ज़बरदस्ती सेक्स भी करना पड़ता है, और फिर वो सुबह सबका खाना बना के जाती है. तो अभी भी वो डबल ट्रिपल 4 टाइम्स वर्क है.
every woman who has a job in other
मतलब
job.
कई बार मुझे लगता है कि पहला जमाना अच्छा था कि अपना
एक ही
पति
काम
के लिए
था।
सज धज के शाम को बैठ जाओ, हैं, और दिन में अपना घर का काम कर लो. कई बार ऐसा लगता है,
Wow.
तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि विजन होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. एंड आई बिलीव दैट यूनिवर्स कॉन्स्पायर्स व्हेन यू हैव अ विजन. क्योंकि मुझे जब लगता था कि बाद में जाके जैसे तापसी ने भी कहा कि अगर हम नहीं करेंगे तो वो होगा नहीं. सो आई थिंक सोसाइटी इज मेड ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट चेंज. सो ईच इंडिविजुअल इफ ही और शी टेक्स हर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देन ओवरऑल चेंज आता रहेगा ग्रेजुअली. ऐसा मुझे बहुत बिलीफ है. तो लेकिन वो अगर विजन ही नहीं है आपके पास कि मुझे ये चाहिए, अगर आप एज शी सेड कि हम वो क्रिब ही करते रहेंगे तो हम उस विजन को ये नहीं कर पाएंगे. सो इट्स लाइक ओके व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, दिस इज हैपनिंग, बट व्हाट डू यू वांट, वो भी तो क्लैरिटी आप रखो एंड देन यूनिवर्स विल कॉन्स्पायर. एटलीस्ट जैसे कि मेरे बारे में मैं कहूँ तो मुझे नहीं पता था कि OTT विल हैपन, बट एक अगर विजन आपके पास है तो चीज़ें बदल जाती है. भाई नेटफ्लिक्स आ जाता है इंडिया में कहीं से.
I know. In my line of work, jitne change makers I meet, of course I'm super biased and I work with women. I think all the change making is being driven by women, and not just in India, I think across the world, whether it's politics.
Scope of change is there more.
I think we stand to benefit a lot more. I think men benefit from the status quo.
एक आइडिया है, मैं बता रही हूँ आपको. एक चेंज आ सकता है बहुत बड़ा. अगर कुछ ऐसा हो जिस दिन आदमी बच्चा पैदा करने लगेंगे,
बिल्कुल
औरत का
सही
जीवन
कहा
बदल
आपने.
जाएगा. सब बदल जाएगा.
बिल्कुल सही कहा. सो मेरे को बहुत कम टाइम दिया गया आप लोगों के साथ, बट एक सवाल आई थिंक विच I want to ask every one of you कि all of you have achieved so much and अब आप role model भी बन गए, I think, and of course everything else, I mean, you will continue to do a lot more, you'll continue to achieve a lot more. I think there are millions and millions of women who are looking at you, whether it's screen, whether off screen, and of course consuming every bit of what you do. And I think whether it is asking more questions or not worrying about roles or not giving a damn about what people think, I think you're already paying it forward. But consciously, I want to ask each one of you. We are standing in a room full of very accomplished women on behalf of a lot of aspirational women of India, maybe 300, 400 million women who dream of a better life, a better name, a better identity for themselves. What is it that you would like to pay it forward?
I'll tell you, combining the logic of what has been told to women for years, that your child is your responsibility. You're going to teach the child, nurture the child, instill values in the child. So it's your responsibility because the child is looking at you. Now, all I want to tell them is take this to the other level. Not one child, there are so many female children who are looking at you as their hopeful change maker. So think that you have this responsibility in your own way. Can be small. I mean, I want to do that not just with the kind of films I do, but the fact that tomorrow, as I said, I would want to bridge that gap between the female and the male salary, or the kind of level of films that are offered to a female versus male protagonist. The fact that your hero of the film can be a female. It doesn't need to have always like a male counterpart saving her. So I'm doing that at my work and the kind of work. But yeah, remember that there's not just that one child in your house. There's so many female children out there looking up and waiting to see that, oh, she could do that, so I can also go ahead and take a step forward from there. They're looking at you to open a certain door for them. So if you've always been taught as a woman to sacrifice or do something for others, right? That's what we've always been told. So do this for them. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Taapsee. Neena?
देखो, मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि जो नीना गुप्ता ने, तापसी ने, अमृता ने, उन्होंने किया, मृणाल ने, ज़रूरी नहीं है वो आपके साथ भी हो जाए. तो ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि कल को मैं बम्बई आके फिल्म इंडस्ट्री ज्वाइन करूँगी तो मैं तापसी बन जाऊँगी इमीडिएटली. ऐसा नहीं होगा. और हर लोग तापसी नहीं बन सकते हैं, कुछ और भी बन सकते हैं. तो एक तो अपनी सेफ्टी का ध्यान रखो, बहुत ज़रूरी है. एक अपनी हेल्थ का ध्यान रखो, और उसने किया था तो मैं भी कर सकती हूँ ये सोच के मत करो. क्योंकि उसके हालात तुम्हारे जैसे नहीं हैं, है ना? तो ये एक हमसे बहुत बातें करते हैं विमेन लेब और विमेन फेमिनिज्म की, तो जो हमारे साथ जो कठिनाइयाँ हैं एज अ वुमन, उसको ध्यान में रखो, और जो कुछ भी करना है उसको ध्यान में रख के करो, सेफ रहो। ये ना हो कि आप किसी चीज़ के पीछे भाग रहे हैं और आपकी ज़िंदगी तबाह हो जाए।
Be pragmatic.
हाँ,
Thank you. अमृता?
जी, मुझे भी ऐसे ही लगता है कि जस्ट नो हु यू आर एंड देन कंजर्व योरसेल्फ। आपको बचाओ जो आप हो ना, मतलब आपका जो कोर है,
सेल्फ केयर, सेल्फ लव।
कोर जो है, मतलब हो सकता है कि आप किसी, स्पेशली विमेन को बहुत बॉक्सेस में बिठाया जाता है ना, ये अच्छी लड़की, ये अच्छी औरत, ये अच्छी पत्नी। तो ये सब बॉक्सेस से निकाल के भी आप कुछ हो, उसको आप संवारो, एंड दैट इज यू, दैट इज योर कोर. So just take care of that core. So be self-connected in that sense, I would say, and preserve that core.
Beautifully shared. Thank you. Mrunal?
If I can add to that, थोड़ा हटके है, लेकिन जब मेरे बच्चे पैदा होंगे तो मैं चाहूँगी कि मैं उनको अच्छा लड़का या अच्छी बेटी या बेटा के तौर पर नहीं, but I raise that child as a good child. So that there's equality, there's no bhedbhav ki, pilot can only be a man, and I just want the atmosphere to be safe for my child, and just decide for yourself, irrespective of who you are, like a man or a woman. So it's just a small change. I wish I could make that in future.
And I wish all three of you have sons, so that you make good sons, so that they are good to the women.
Women, yes.
Very well said. Wonderful, wonderful sharing, and thank you so much, each one of you. More power to each one of you. More love to each one of you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.